DANTOK is an author, internet marketer, speaker, and is known as being the king of high-ticket sales. He went from being a broke immigrant who didn't speak any English and failing at 13 different businesses to becoming a self-made millionaire. Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 and 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 and 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I make these videos because chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, DANTOK, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Articulate your value.
There's a great quote out there. It talks about be so good at what you do, people cannot ignore you. If people are ignoring you, chances are you're not very good, right? You're a legend in your own mind. You live in your own bubble that you think you're so good. But the truth is, the world's so much bigger. From my perspective, in my opinion, most of the world, most people out there are average. So when you're actually good at something, when you're exceptional at something, people notice. And it's so rare. It's like a rare commodity. There just aren't a lot of exceptional people or with exceptional talents out there. So if you do have exceptional talents and you have exceptional skills, chances are you will stand out like a sore thumb. I don't believe that people will underestimate you. If assuming that it is the case, then the second issue could be you're very, very good and you may be world class. I don't think you are, but assuming you are, then you don't know how to articulate your value. So it's one thing to have value, it's another thing how do you articulate value to the world. Means that you're not very good at selling yourself. You're very good at doing the things. You're a doer, you're not a seller. You don't know how to sell to the world that your expertise, your skill, your experience, your knowledge, you don't know how to get it out there in a way that people will respond. So you're the best at something that nobody knows, nobody cares. You needed to be able to get attention and articulate your value in a way that people would pay attention to you. So doing the thing is one thing, but being able to articulate what you do, it's a whole other thing. I think you need to work on being better. Don't underestimate yourself. I think the world's so much bigger that if you think you're very good, chances are you're not very good. And you need to be humble and then learn to articulate the value.
Rule number 2, script your day.
Not just scheduling your day, I'm talking about scripting your day. There's a difference. Scheduling your day, sometimes it could be other people, they want your time, right? If you look at your calendar right now, do you have a lot of other people's agendas on your calendars that are simply distractions, or that you feel it's an obligation that you have to attend to some of these meetings and things like that, or this phone call, right? Versus scripting your day, meaning that you are a performer, right? That you're running your business, you're pursuing your career. This is the outcome that you want. Just like a performance, at the end of the day, we want to entertain the audience. We want them to enjoy the experience and give us standing ovation. That is the outcome that we want. How do we script that so that it happens? So scripting is you block out every single thing that you're gonna do throughout the day. You script it. Your lunch, you script it, right? Your exercise time, you put it in and you script it. You block it out so that other people cannot put their whatever agendas onto your calendar. You protect your time. In fact, you protect your time more so even you protect your money, because that's your most valuable asset. You have to treat it like so. Everything you do, you have to ask yourself the question, return on time invested, ROTI. What is my return if I invest this amount of time talking to this person, meeting with this person, handling this email versus being all distracted? So script your day.
Rule number 3, be comfortable with failing.
When you have no money to start a business, well, then you're making decisions based on scarcity, right? Based on desperation. It's very, very difficult to make strategic decisions when you don't have any cash coming in. So only start a business when you put aside a certain amount of money, I believe, a certain amount of money, then you can start, knowing that it's going to take some time for this thing to ramp up, and that is if you're good. Chances are, most of the time, most people don't make it. 50% of the businesses fail in the first 2 years, 90 to 95% fail in the first 5 years. Your art is not good. And every single time I say it, every single time I hear from entrepreneurs, I am the exception. I am that 5%. They never think they're that 95%. No one starts a business thinking that they're gonna fail. They're overly optimistic. Sometimes that's the problem with entrepreneurs. They haven't failed enough. So they are very naive. They're overly confident versus thinking more like an investor. Hey, what is the downside? What could I lose? Can I live with the downside? See, that's being smart.
Rule number 4, have clear financial goals.
I am shocked how many people I talk to actually don't have financial goals. When I ask them, okay, so what are some of your financial goals in the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now? Most people is like, I don't know, I guess I want to be more successful. I said, do you want to be making more money? I said, yeah, I guess I want to be making more money, but it's not very clearly defined. So the first thing you want to do in your 30s is make sure that you have financial goals. So how much cash you want to save up in your bank account? How much savings do you want to have? What kind of investments do you want to own? How big of a portfolio you want to have? How much money you want to be earning on a monthly basis? Those should be clearly defined. See, the problem is this. Most people, we are taught to climb that ladder, right? Ladder of success. And they say, you know what, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get a certificate, I'm going to get a diploma, I'm going to get a degree. And that's great. Nothing wrong with going back to school, right? For some, maybe they get a degree and then they go back, they want to get an MBA, a PhD, and that's fine, but most people do that because they are living up to other people's expectations. So the first degree didn't get the results that they want, didn't bring them the success that they want, but then they thought, well, I guess the logical thing is I go back and get a second one. Now, if that's what you want to do and that's your vocational goals, you want to be a doctor, lawyer, accountant, engineer, that's perfectly fine. But what I notice is people try to climb this ladder and they realize actually the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. That by the time they get up to the ladder and they look down, it's like, this is not what I want. This is, how did I end up here? And now they need to climb down back the ladder, right? Climb down and then they got to find a different wall to lean against, and that wastes a lot of time. Versus if you're clear of, that's my goal. My financial goals is this and this and this, and you ask yourself, is this the right ladder and am I leaning against the right wall? Isn't that a smarter way of doing it? So having clarity of your financial goals, I think are extremely critical. You want to avoid that money trap of not having financial goals, because clarity is power. And what is power? Power is the ability to act. When your idea, when your vision is clear, the path is easy. It's only when it's vague and when you're not so sure what your goals are, then you're all over the place, right? Instead of being focused. Hi, this is DANTOK. I want to share with you a lesson from Carmichael's new book, Built to Serve. This section is about making money from your purpose. You have to embrace that. If you never learn how to make money from your purpose, you'll always end up needing a day job, and your purpose will become a hobby. If that sounds like a great life to you, then I'm happy for you. If not, then you need to figure out a money-making model that makes sense, one that is consistent, one that is significant, one that can pay you so you can quit your job and succeed to the point where you are providing jobs for others and helping even more people. You see, money is nothing more than a byproduct of value creation. The more people that you serve, the more successful that you will be. So to have long-term success is not just built to last or built to sell or even built to scale. It is built to serve. And this book will teach you exactly how to do that.
Rule number 5, choose progress over perfection.
A lot of times when we're trying to make everything perfect, we want everything to line up perfectly so that we won't make a mistake. The problem is when you are focusing to be that perfectionist, right? When you're focusing on everything has to be perfect, that usually, not just usually, almost always, that slows down your progress, right? Forget trying to make it perfect. And chances are it's not going to be perfect anyway. We are chasing something that almost doesn't exist. Because in business, whatever you do when you put it on the marketplace, any project, any initiative that you have, chances are you have to pivot, you have to tweak, right? I have never seen a business plan that fails on paper, right? On paper it sounds good, a plan sounds good on a piece of paper, but when you execute it, there are always tweaks. In fact, sometimes you gotta can it. You gotta say, you know what, I thought this will work and now it doesn't work. Having that flexibility to be able to pivot in terms of behaviors and mindset is very critical. So value progress over perfection. You don't have to get it right, you just have to get it going. As long as we are moving forward, as long as we are a little bit closer to our goals, I'm okay with making some mistakes. I'm okay with not getting it perfect.
Rule number 6, have the power to say no.
I think it's changed over the years. In the beginning, I thought freedom is the ability to do whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want. That was the definition of freedom to me back then. But now, as I've learned, I believe that freedom is not be able to do whatever the hell you want. Freedom is the ability to not have to do something if you don't want to. That's what I would consider true freedom. You have the power to say no to things. That if you don't want to do a project, you don't want to take on a certain client, you don't want to travel to a certain destination, you don't have to do it. You could say no, right? And that's what I talk about in my book, F You Money. That it is a more powerful concept because it means that you get to a stage in your life that you have enough liquidity. It means that you have enough FU money so that you could save you to people that you don't like, that you don't want in your life. You don't need to tolerate a lot of things in your life.
Rule number 7, be patient.
You are ready to start a business. You know you're ready when you're okay not making money for a long period of time. If you are starting a business with the pure motivation and intention is just to make a quick buck, you're not going to be successful. Now, it doesn't mean you don't want to be profitable, right? Doesn't mean profit doesn't come into the play. It absolutely does. But if your focus is just to make a quick buck and make money, you're not going to be successful. Why? Because if you focus on chasing the dollars, chances are you're not solving problems. You should be in business because you want to solve problems in some way, shape, or form. You're fulfilling a need in the marketplace. You bring your entrepreneurial skill to the marketplace. This is not like a typical, if you're an employee, every single month, every 2 weeks, you're gonna get a paycheck. As an entrepreneur, we eat last. That's why it's called profit. You don't get a paycheck. You pay your vendor, you pay your lease, you pay everybody else, you pay your team. You get paid last, right? And you get paid, you wait the longest. Because the first few years, not few months, first few years, sometimes the first 10 years, you're just working and putting your time into the business. And hopefully it will grow and you will thrive and you will have a big payday. But in the beginning, you're just putting in your sweat equity. That's why most people don't understand. They think, oh, I'm gonna start a business in 6 months, a year. Oh, I'm gonna be on the beach. No. Even the ones who are successful, chances are, in some cases, it took them decades to get to a certain stage in terms of business, building to a significant business. Some cases, 15, 20 years. So are you willing to delay the gratification? Are you willing to wait? If you're not willing to wait, then forget about it. You're not ready. And actually, you shouldn't start a business.
Rule number 8, make contacts.
When I immigrated to North America, I didn't know anybody. I had no contacts. I couldn't speak the language. So if that's the case, one of the things I want to teach you is to rephrase and reframe from thinking of, oh, I don't have any contacts. Contacts is not something that you have. Contacts is something you go get. You got to go get them, right? If you don't have it, no good. It's just, well, I don't have any contacts. You got to go get it. If you move to a new city, you don't know anybody, go to local chamber of commerce, right? There are a lot of business people there. Go there, meet with people, mingle with people. That's very good. Now, usually the qualities, by the way, are not super good. That's okay. You start somewhere. You're not gonna have the context that, like what I have today overnight, took me how many years? Start somewhere. What else? Board of Trade. Go there, a lot of business people. Go to events. Whenever there are events, business events, personal development events, go there. Anyone that you know, you'll meet people who are growth-oriented, people who are ambitious. Go there, buy a ticket, spend a few dollars, don't be a cheap ass, right? Go there, meet with people. And now once you become a little bit better, maybe you can join local Toastmasters. And Toastmasters is a non-profit organization that teaches the skill of public speaking. If you join a Toastmaster club in a business area, chances are there are other business people. Go there and meet with those people.
Rule number 9, write everything out.
In your mind, you may be thinking you've got 100 things to do, but when you lay it all out, and you might think, well, actually I have 100 things, but actually no, I only have 20 things to do. And out of those 20 things, I only need to do these 2 things this week, and this month I need to accomplish these 10 things. So then you're now less overwhelmed when you lay out. Don't keep it in your head. Write it out. And there may be some things where, you know what, I don't even need to do this. I can just cross it out, delete it. And this one, maybe I can do it much later. It's not very critical to the success of this project. This is making sense, right? So write everything out. Don't keep it in your head.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is develop a high income skill.
Why do you need a high income skill? Why do you need to actively every year increase your income? You see, you have to understand that with inflation and cost of living going up, wouldn't you agree? Every single year, things are getting more expensive, right? The dollar that used to buy certain amount of things and items, that dollar is getting thinner and thinner every year. So let's say the cost of living is going up by, let's say 3% every single year. So it means that if your income stays the same year after year, it's the same amount, you are getting 3% poorer every single year. When you take that out every 5, 10 years, 15 years, you look at that. This is why most people struggle, because the earning abilities, right? The way, the rate that the income is growing is not as fast as inflation. So even though if you're staying the same, you're actually getting behind. So every single year in your 30s, you should strive to increase your income every single year, actively, your active income. Every single year you want to strive to earn more. Am I talking about a side hustle like what most people talk about? I'm not talking about a side hustle. A high income skill is different from a side hustle. What is a high income skill? High income skill simply means income on your own terms, meaning you could generate income where you want, with whom you want. It is not industry dependent, it is not location dependent, and it's not company dependent. So it doesn't matter if you work for this company or this industry or that industry. With a high income skill, you can work in different industry. It is transferable. This is why it is not a job, it is a skill set that you offer to the marketplace in exchange of money. Now, what are some of those skill sets? I'm talking about could be blogging, it could be YouTube, it could be closing, it could be digital marketing, it could be copywriting, it could be consulting. Whatever skills that you could offer from the comfort of your own home that it's beyond than your current occupation, I define that as high income skill. Not having a high income skill puts you in a huge disadvantage. Why? Because now you're restricted, right? Your earning potential. There's a cap to how much you could earn.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and how are you gonna take action on it this week? When you schedule in what day, what time, and what place you're going to take action, you have a 91% chance of actually following through versus just a 35% chance if you just got motivated but never created a specific plan. And when you share your plan publicly and have some accountability, you increase your chances even further of actually following through. So I want to know your single biggest takeaway and your plan of action this week in the comments so I can celebrate you.
So assuming now you find your ideal company that you want to work for as an employee, the second step is you want to become a valuable employee within that company, meaning doing what you're supposed to do, going the extra mile, upgrading your skill sets, right? Don't compare yourself to anybody else. You want to be the superstar. You want to catch people's attention. You want to catch the CEO's attention. Become valuable within the organization. That's step number 2. Now you would earn more, you'll be given more responsibility, you'll be given more opportunity, right? Hi, this is Dan Lok. If you're a fan of Evan's work, if you want to know exactly how to model my success, I want to invite you to join me for a special online training. All you have to do is click on the link below. You can join me for absolutely no charge. So click on the link below and I will see you in class.
If you want to change your life for free in the next 30 days, check out my training right here below. Or if you want 10 more awesome rules from Dan Lok, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.